Who likes to throw money away? Who amongst you would like to be responsible for 850,000 of this organization's money just thrown in the garbage can? Who would like to be responsible for the vast amounts of resources and talent that we've expended and lost over the last couple of years just dealing with bugs and dealing with customer complaints? Would you like to be responsible for that? It's time to end that. It's time to stop the bleeding. It's time to put an end to the waste and to the loss of talent that we are suffering just because we are developing software that is starting to really slide in quality. Today marks the beginning of an era. It marks the beginning of a new period in our organization where we implement and start exercising the quality first development paradigm. This effort is going to put quality at the forefront of everything that we do. It's going to make quality a critical requirement for delivering software to our customers. It's going to make quality the watchword. Over the last 6 months, I've sat with the leaders of various teams. We've looked at our data. We've looked at the performance of our teams, and we've tried to identify the root cause of our slide in quality. And what we found is that we're hemorrhaging not just money, and we're literally hemorrhaging direct cash, but we're hemorrhaging developers, we're hemorrhaging talent. We have support staff leaving because they're overwhelmed by the complaints and the negative feedback they're getting from our customers. There's a research by Besker that was published in the Journal of Systems and Software that finds a correlation between technical debt and developer morale. Having been a developer myself for more than 20 years, I know how frustrating it is to have to work or spend so much of your time just fixing bugs rather than doing innovative, creative new work. It makes work a drag. It makes you not want to come into the office on a Monday. And this is causing a lot of developers to leave. We get that in feedback that we get from developers during exit interviews, and they state that as one of the major reasons they're moving on to other companies. We're losing talent to our competitors. And this is not setting us up in a good place because even our customers are losing a lot of the goodwill they have for us. If we look at the numbers that we're dealing with, over the last 2 years, we've increased the number of our support staff from 2 to 25 just to deal with the huge increase in volume of feedback and complaints we're getting from customers. From 2 to 25. That's a huge increase. But our revenue has not increased by that much margin. If we look at some of the other numbers for how we do in terms of the work that we're doing, we spend 60% of our time fixing bugs and the remaining 40% developing new features. Just think about that. 60% of the money that we spend on development is spent on redoing work that we should have done right the first time, rather than creating new features and expanding our business. Even more troubling is the fact that 48% of that time is spent fixing bugs that had previously been fixed, which means that they were fixed and they got reintroduced. We have to do better. We have to find a way to find these bugs and make sure they don't get introduced into the software. We have to put quality first. Now, if we're not sure about the impact that this could have, and one of the biggest concerns that a lot of you have raised in talking about this is the cost of testing, the cost of test infrastructure, the amount of time it takes to write tests. I'll tell you that the costs of not testing are a lot greater than that. We are increasing our risk profile dramatically by not setting up to find bugs before they ship. The cost of not testing could be many orders of magnitude greater than the investment we would make in testing. And I'll encourage you to think about the costs of testing as an investment rather than as the cost. Because that time and that money we put into testing and infrastructure will prevent further costs down the line. So let's look at it. If we don't test and the wrong bugs get out, they could actually put us in legal jeopardy. A great example is Robinhood. There was a report in Bloomberg in 2021 that reports that a judge has approved a class action lawsuit against Robinhood for an outage that occurred in March of 2020. And this outage happened to occur on the biggest day of trading, or almost the biggest day of trading in the New York Stock Exchange history. And Robinhood happened to be out of commission for hours on that day. And so there's a class action lawsuit going out to deal with losses that clients of Robinhood had on that day. And that compounds the issue for Robinhood because they also lost the money that day. So not fixing bugs could cost us a lot more money if we happen to have the wrong bugs go. Another jeopardy that we're in, another risk of not fixing bugs, is embarrassment. In 2019, SolarWinds had an exploit through a vulnerability in their software update that resulted in tens of thousands of government agencies and corporations being hacked. An article in the Journal of Homeland Security and Counterterrorism states that while companies were trying to do the right thing, a vulnerability and a weakness in the quality process at SolarWinds introduced an opportunity for hackers to exploit customers of SolarWinds that were just doing the right thing. The embarrassment that caused to SolarWinds, they're in the news and they're the poster child for bad software quality processes. We do not want to fall into that. Now, from the numbers we talked about before, imagine if we were spending the 60% of the time we were spending fixing bugs, if we spend that time developing new features, if we spend that time developing solutions for more customers. I know many people here like your bonuses, right? And our bonuses are tied to new contracts and to new work and to new customers. So you can imagine just how much more you would get in bonuses if we weren't spending so much time fixing bugs. We need to put quality first. We need to start thinking about how to affirm the quality of our software before we declare it as ready for customers to use. And so going on from today, and don't forget those good bonuses, but going on from today, we need to come to a point where our new mantra is that we have to know how we're going to test the feature before we build it. We have to come to a point where we have an organization that delivers software that is of such good quality that our developers are proud of the work they do. We want them to wear our logo, our insignia with pride. We want them to talk about our companies and attract new talent. So we want to come to a point where we have a work process and an experience for our developers where the work that we do is predictable. As managers, you want to be able to predict a launch date and stick to it. You want to be able to affirm and confidently brag about the new features you're going to launch and know they will work as expected. But even more, you don't want to deal with all the negativity that we get from customers. We want customers to applaud our work. We want them to celebrate us. And that is going to come when we put quality first. So going forward, with this new policy in place, let's take it on, let's embrace it, let's make it a culture. The cost is there, but again, like I said, it's not as bad as it would be if we had the wrong bug. It's an investment. And so if we take quality and put quality first, we will have a company that's an exciting place to work. And we will no longer be in crisis and damage control mode like we've been over the last few months. So So let's embrace this. Let's make this our culture. Let's put quality first in everything we do. And the rule, like I said, is if you cannot test it, don't build it. Thank you.